Hi, this is Tina Lorenz. I'm your copywriting mentor, mindset shifter, and transformational business coach. And thanks for joining me today. Today, I want to talk about 3 keys to creating financial freedom because now more than ever, this is such an important aspect to get dialed in, whether you're a freelance copywriter or you have any other kind of online business, actually. I focus on online businesses. It could be you have a brick and mortar business. But these 3 keys apply to just about everything you might be doing with your business and how you think about your business. So let's take a look at what those are right now. We're going to start right here. What are your 3 keys to financial freedom? So key number 1, I call solving problemality. Problemality. Key number 2, creating potentiality. And key number 3, intentioning prosperity. So let's go deeper into each of these. But because first we need to start right here. Key number 1, solving problemality. What in the world is problemality? Is that even a word? Well, hey, I'm a copywriter, and you know what we get to do? We get to invent words sometimes. And so problemality is one of mine, but I'm going to share it with you right now. So here's what problemality is. It's a combination of problems to be solved, right? And so that could be the other thing I would say, these things can be applied to yourself as well, yourself and your business, but also really geared to how you serve others. If you have the heart to be of service to others in your business and you want to have more impact and you want to be able to bring value, that's where we begin. What is that problem that we're going to solve? It may be a huge problem, it may be a small problem, but that's what we call it, is a problem to be solved. And then it's the personal identity. First of all, for yourself, how you see yourself, who you believe yourself to be, or who you are becoming, but also the personal identity of your audience. If you're working with a client, what is their audience? How do they think? What are their kind of personal traits, their avatar, that their kind of psychographic that comes through with what they might be doing with that particular client? And patterns of thought and behavior. What is the way we always think it? It's kind of those, I call it the fallback position, kind of the habits of thought, or we always tell ourselves certain limiting beliefs, for example. So I want it to be clear that these 3 keys apply to yourself personally. They apply to how you work with a client. It applies to how what you do with your client impacts their audience as well. 3 levels of impact. And there are also 3 levels of problemality. So the first one is level 1. I call it compartmentalize. What does that mean? Compartmentalize means that the issue, the problem, has these things in common. Recency, this is something that's been going on for really in the current time, whatever that might be, the person might be dealing with. Urgency, like, okay, really, it is time to get this dialed in. There's no more time to mess around, or willingness to just put off something that could be very helpful to them. And immediacy, that this is something you're looking for now. This is a problem they want to solve right now, and they're actively looking for that. Or it's an immediacy issue because they need to get it resolved right now. So if you're writing copy for a client, what is in their program, their product, what is it that is going to create this recency, urgency, and immediacy? And it's kind of compartmentalized. It's not like their whole entire life. Kind of think of it as like a gift wrap package sitting on the shelf, where this issue of problemality is more compartmentalized than it is from the rest of their lives, for example. But that brings us to level 2, which I call habitualized. So what is habitualized? It means long-term. Okay, this is just kind of the same old, same old. This has been going on for a while. Limiting, self-limiting thinking, limiting beliefs, ways of telling yourself messages that are holding you back. Again, kind of the 2 sides of the coin with this is this could apply to you personally, or also to the people you're dealing with in your audience. If you have your own programs, if you're a coach, if you have products, that type of thing, or you're dealing with a client and you're talking about their audience. So this is multifaceted. And that's why it's such an important aspect to get dialed in. So the limiting beliefs thing is huge. Those stories we tell ourselves, the things that we say that keep us locked in at a certain level. The $50,000 a year mentality, when you say you would like to make $250,000 a year, but really you can't think beyond that in belief for yourself. These are parts of the limitations of habitualized problemality. And languishing, what does that mean? It means you've kind of gotten comfortable with the limitations, or the audience has kind of gotten comfortable with that. Just sort of accepting this as the norm, the status quo. Things don't really challenge it too much, because even if it doesn't seem like the result you say you might desire, it's more comfortable to not do anything. It feels safer. It feels less challenging. It feels less scary. You think you have an illusion that you're more secure in a regular 9 to 5 job, when really it could end at any moment. And the actual truth of the matter is that being entrepreneurial, you create your own revenue, you create a foundation for it. So kind of languishing into getting comfortable with that habitualized way of being with problemality. Level 3, normalize. Okay, now we're really dug in. What does that mean? It means these are people that are really just kind of thrive on chaos, conflicts, and catastrophes. Do you know anybody like that? That it seems like that's the kind of driving force of their life, that they're going to race into rescue. They have to solve the problem. There's so much uncertainty, unfairness, this type of thing. And so it's become just the normal status quo, regular life is filled with chaos and conflicts and catastrophes. For example, do you know people that you feel like, why is this stuff always happening to this person? Why is this just a constant thread in their life? And it's because they've normalized the problemality in their life. I hope this is making sense, because there really are these 3 levels of just accepting what that pain point is, or what the issue is that needs to be resolved. And so that's the first key, is dealing with that, recognizing that, working with that, addressing that, working to change that. All of those things happen in key number 1. So now on to key number 2, financial freedom. Key number 2, creating potentiality. What is potentiality? It means creating value, really exploring what the potential is, where the pathway is to that potential, and being able to strategize that if you're working with a client, strategize that if you're working with yourself, if you have your own business. But more than that, when you're working with someone besides just yourself in a solopreneur type scenario, creating value for those you serve. So always adding more than what others are doing. This is how you differentiate yourself. This is how you stand out from the crowd. This is how you explore where the gaps are in someone's business. For example, if you're looking at what their marketing strategy is, if you're a freelance copywriter, and you should be also thinking along the lines of, I'm a strategist, right? I'm not just a short order copywriter. I don't just take orders to write, 3 sales letters, 5 emails, hold the fries, right? This is about, and this is also how you add the value for your client, is when you were looking for where there are more opportunities for them to be able to maximize the profitability of their business. So finding the gaps and selling the value of results. So when you are writing a sales letter, when you are creating a sales message, making your offers, that you are selling the results. The value is in the result. And it's not in how many modules, how many hours of training, how many widgets, that type of thing. It's not in the process. It's not in the parts and pieces. The true value is in the results that you bring for your clients. So for example, if you're a freelance copywriter and you're writing a funnel copy bundle, shall we say, that might have the opt-in, the sales letter, the emails, that type of thing. And let's say you're charging anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 for that copywriting package. What is the value? The true value to your client is the result that they can get from that. I have copy that's been online for over a decade. That means it's making the marketer I wrote that for money on and on. It's their own little cash machine, right? And so that kind of value, when your prospect or your client understands the potentiality of what can happen for them when they have a marketing funnel set up that's working and is selling their product with a lot of automation, that they don't have to think about it. They might have sales at 2:00 in the morning from an evergreen webinar, for example. Those are the kinds of things, are the results that are there for your client. The same than when you're actually making the offer in the sales letter to their clients, their customers. Always be thinking that, what are we really selling here? We're always selling more than the obvious. And that's how you bring the value of the result to the people you're working with. So that's key number 2. Key number 3, intentioning prosperity. Intentioning. Hey, there's another fun word, right? So the word intentioning, this is kind of funny, really, because I created this word for my own use, my husband and I, somewhere around 2006. So shortly after I started as a freelance copywriter online, we started coining the term intentioning. And what that meant was And exactly how we did this was we would sit, we have a beautiful piece of property here in Tucson, Arizona, with views of the mountains, very peaceful, hummingbirds, very quiet. And so we'd sit outside and we'd hold hands and we would work on our energetic source, that we were connecting to our higher source, to divine source. And that with that became a vivid imagery of whatever it was that we desired to have come into our lives and what we wish to create, this type of thing. And so we called it intentioning. And so guess what happened? Now it's in the Urban Dictionary. I looked it up and it was like, just out of curiosity, and there it was. And looks like it appeared somewhere around 2007 after I started talking about intentioning. Now, I'm not saying it's just because of me, but I am saying, hey, Urban Dictionary, watch out. Stay tuned for Problemality, because it's coming your way. because I've started using it and I'm going to continue to use it. So Problemality is right up there with intentioning. But what does intentioning mean? Just kind of what I explained to you. Decide. Everything starts with a decision. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Do you decide or do you choose? Well, you decide. First, you have to decide. You decide what you're going to do, and then you make choices that support the decision. So you need to decide to focus on prosperity. No matter what else is going on, you choose to take actions that attract prosperity every day. It's a decision and a choice. You decide to be the person who can do the things, and whatever it takes to get there, you choose to make yourself findable every day. So just one aspect of how you're going to attract prosperity is to get found. How do you get found? You get found by participating in public, so to speak. You have to be able to turn on your camera, be on a Zoom call, not be afraid to talk to someone on the phone if that's how you're running your business. You need to be able to show up in groups and on social media platforms, whatever one you might choose to work with. Maybe you're going to post regularly, or you're going to write articles, or you're going to enter into conversations that are going on and be helpful. You're going to join niche-oriented groups, like for entrepreneurs or chiropractors or dentists, that are all looking for ways to market their business. Because if that's what you do as a freelance copywriter, marketing strategist, you want to participate in places where people might need your assistance. And of course, you're going to follow the terms of service. You're not going to spam anybody, but join into conversations that are already going on with some helpful information, for example. And so choose to make yourself findable. Can people find you, right? Decide to believe in yourself. Decide and choose to embrace your potential every day. This means paying attention to what you're saying to yourself, paying attention to those old stories and scripts that pop up on a regular basis, which is what I refer to as your habit of thought, right? Decide what you're going to pay attention to and choose to vividly envision prosperity flowing to you every day. This is part of the intentioning, literally choosing not to focus on things that might be on the news, on things that people are saying, on a kind of a group energy, a group mindset that can suck you in before you even realize it, and that you find yourself then believing what everyone else is believing. And so we create our realities and what we choose to think about every single day. So decide, and I mean with ironclad commitment, to be able to do this, because the toxicity, think of it sort of like a green cloud that starts drifting around your head when people are doing the negative chatter, and that you can choose to not participate. Decide to believe this will work for you and on you, that this process is powerful, and that when you embrace it and believe it, you choose your words, you choose your thoughts, and you choose where you invest your time every day. Where you hang out on a regular basis, whether it's virtually or in person, can have a huge impact on what's happening with your prosperity. You've probably heard all the sayings like the 5 wealthiest people you hang out with, that's what impacts you. Well, really reverse engineer that. If you hang out with people that all they're doing is talking about woe is me and how hard everything is and how disastrous everything is and how bad it's all going to get, there's a difference between preparing in the sense of, I'm going to create such a strong foundation for my business that I will move right through whatever might be coming. Because, even if you say, well, winter's coming, so does spring. It follows winter. Even during the Great Depression, there were businesses that thrived all the way through a 10-year depression and came out the other side positioned and prepared to increase their businesses even more. Think like that, not like, woe is me, it's all done, that's it. I've been through a recession in 2008, 2009. I've been online since 2004. And so I've been through a lot of different things online, and I've never made less than six figures, multiple six figures actually, and any year during that entire time. And so what this tells me is my ability to not focus on some of the negativity, but to stay focused on dealing with my clients, helping them improve their business, writing copy every day, just basically making a decision to not participate in certain ways of thinking. It will carry you so far. But what happens a lot of times is we get kind of this hyper vigilant sort of mentality where we're looking over our shoulder. It's like, oh, it's going to sneak up on me. It's going to spring out of the shadows any minute. And so that actually then creates that whole energetic dynamic that brings what you're focusing on. And so your brain is designed to create your inner reality to match your outer reality, all of these things that are God-given ability that our brains have when we leverage that power and decide that we simply will think differently. Even if all those around us are thinking one way, we can choose to do something different. And so that's where you invest your time. What are the messages you're telling yourself silently that maybe no one else is hearing, just between you and you? What are you saying to yourself? And how you decide to change it and pay close attention to it, so you can revise it instantly, self-correct immediately, and make that the habit. Because the more you do that, the more you will create the habit of thought that takes you towards what you desire to have, and attracts, more than that, attracts what you desire to have happening in your life. So you decide to commit to your spiritual practice, whatever that may be. In my communities, we call it Celestial Sherpa, that we are guides and emissaries for ourselves first, then for our clients, and in that way impacts their audiences as well. 3 levels of impact. Choose to connect with divine source every day. It's your ultimate business partner if you believe that and choose to tap into that. I'm just teaching you, sharing with you what has helped me to create a very, very, very thriving business over almost 20 years online, through thick and thin, ups and downs, without having a complete crash of everything coming to a halt, and still making multiple six figures no matter what was going on. It's entirely possible that there are opportunities in every situation if you decide to see them and focus on them. So decide to commit to your spiritual practice. Decide and choose to connect on a daily level. It should be even a morning routine that you might be doing with that. Decide to practice these 3 keys to financial freedom. It doesn't cost anything to begin thinking differently. It doesn't cost a dime to choose to focus on something besides the negativity. It doesn't cost you anything except your time. You're going to pay one way or another. You're going to pay with time, or you're going to pay with paid ads, whatever. But to be able to spend some spiritual time every day, start your day that way. If you're a copywriter, you should be writing something every day, whether it's for yourself or for your clients. You should be focusing on the activities that help you build a business, not just frittering away. We say, oh, we're busy, but really, what are we busy with? Checking social media, checking emails, you're wandering around the house if you're working from home, coming back, sitting down, checking social media again. Really, just when you decide to focus on the moves that will take your business forward, and sometimes that's thinking, sometimes that's just the spiritual. I say just, but that starts with that spiritual practice. When you are participating in whatever prayerful meditation, contemplation, reading, whatever, however you may do this, be sure you have a tablet and a pen handy and write down what comes to you. Write down what kind of inspiration happens. I had a whole thing happen for me yesterday when I was doing this. They added another dimension to what I'm doing in my business. It's part of the fuel for this video right now, and this is how these things evolve, and how you channel your creativity, your power into the places of your business that will actually help you make the money. And that's how the 3 keys to financial freedom work. I hope this has been helpful to you. And if this was, that you would like and subscribe, and let me get myself back here. There we go. Hi. I really enjoy doing these videos for you, and be a comment. I'd love to hear your comments when you're watching this. Subscribe, like, share, whatever it may be. But if you subscribe, then I go live, create videos live and recorded a couple of times a week, and just sharing how I've been able to come through this process, because I only talk about things I actually do, and experiences I've actually had and what I'm actually doing now. It's not based on theory or somebody said this yesterday, so I think, wow, I'll just talk about it today. I've never done this, but I talk about what's worked in my business. My first year online as a freelance copywriter with no experience. I've been on my own since 17, no college degree, homeless in my 40s, the whole 9 yards of things not being so easy, right? When I decided to become a freelance copywriter and I chose that I was going to do the activities that would help build a business, even if I didn't always know the how. And I did not when I first started. I just started writing with sales letters, and I didn't know how to do them very well when I first began. Didn't charge very much when I first began, but I rapidly increased that as I saw what I was able to do for my clients, the value I was able to bring to them. And I continued to make the decision that I would move forward in my business and surprise myself by doing multiple six figures my very first year online as a freelance copywriter with no previous experience. So these keys to financial freedom, I know them because I live them. I've walked the walk. I continue to today, and you can do it too. So I hope this is helpful to you. Until next time, this is Tina Lorenz. Thanks for joining me today.